This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. It is not intended to cause or induce breach of an existing agency agreement.
This is the Victoria Real Estate Podcast. Welcome to the Victoria Real Estate Podcast, where we discuss everything Victoria Real Estate. I'm Adrian McLaren, and I'm joined by
Jocelyn Chef.
And we are realtors on the City Nest team at Remax Camosun in Greater Victoria. On today's episode, it's a big one. We're diving into the first ever 6-unit missing middle townhouse development in Victoria, 1789 Emerson. And we're joined by developer Dale Degagne, CEO of Missing Middle Solutions, and Robert Starkey, who is an independent real estate investor and founder of a small-scale development consultancy called Breakwater Developments. We are bringing both of these accomplished individuals on today to talk about the inspiration, the hurdles, and why a project like 1789 Emerson is exactly what Victoria needs. So, Dale, Rob, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
oh, there we go. Thanks for having us.
Now, before we get started, can we just kind of start by giving the listeners who don't know either of you a little summary background about yourself, maybe start personal and jump into, I guess, the professional life. But Dale, do you want to take that away?
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I grew up in small town Northern Ontario. I started investing in real estate when I was like 19. 21. I was 21. That's still a little bit older.
Yeah.
Still very young.
Yeah, I started in 21. I mean, houses were cheap up there, okay? Super cheap.
Sure.
And so I was in the military and just did the whole work real estate as a side hustle while going to the day job. Spent 10 years in the military building up a real estate portfolio. Decided to quit, traveled for a bit, ended up in Victoria. And 2023, I started Missing Middle Solutions. And it's been a heck of a ride ever since.
I was wondering where you got that shirt from.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is
it's all adding up now.
Our terrible first branding.
That's when do we get swag? That's the question.
When we get the new logo design next week.
I'd love a hat.
Ooh,
I would wear a hat every day.
All right.
Yeah, baseball cap.
Hats by the end of the month.
Ooh,
okay.
I like that. Okay. Rob?
Amazing. How far back do we go? I mean, as a 10-year-old, hugely into Legos, loved building stuff, and just carried on later in life. I was just enamored with construction and development and all that stuff. I broke into the industry in Calgary almost 10 years ago. Started working for a small infill developer, actually on the sales and marketing side of things. And then 7 years ago, I moved to Victoria and started working for a couple of different prominent local real estate developers. And about a year and a half ago, I was at a kind of a career crossroads trying to think about like what the next level of my career could be and how I could, increase my income potential and all that, and decided to do something more entrepreneurial, break out on my own. And around that time, that's where Dale and I got connected. He had 3 projects that he needed help with
desperately,
and I was the man who could do that.
Yeah. So how did you guys actually get connected? Where did you guys meet?
I think probably a mutual friend, like running or something.
Yeah, I have this terrible habit of thinking that I can always just go and run a 10K no matter when my last one was.
Yeah.
And so when I got invited out with a friend of mine and said there was a development manager working with one of the bigger companies in town was going with him, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
And we connected over development while killing myself.
I feel like that would be a hard conversation to have while running. It's better on the golf course, maybe.
Well, Jocelyn, you would be fine. You would just be jogging along. If you didn't know, Jocelyn.
Rob and I have.
We tow the same races.
We do,
no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rob like motors past me on the hills usually.
Right. I'm thinking about signing up for the 2K soon. So
there's no
maybe
what
I'll
2K?
see you guys out there. I'm just joking, Jocelyn.
I know. I'm still looking for my distance. I'm like maybe 2K. 2K would actually be worse than a lot of other distances, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's a real meet cute, guys. I like it. It's not online. It's in real life.
Yep.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about why we're actually bringing you on today, which is 1789 Emerson. Where did the vision stem from for 1789 Emerson?
Ooh, do you mean the design vision?
maybe like the overarching, I guess.
like the whole project.
Why not build a 26 unit, condo building? Why not a 14 unit townhome? Why? Yeah, why
I mean, have you ever built a 26 unit townhome? I feel like that's
why not
not
single family?
Oh, okay. Well, now we're getting somewhere.
go.
So missing middle in general just makes sense these days. You can't build a single family home for what someone can afford in Victoria.
Yeah.
So you have to have multiple units. And you could, maybe if you had experience and the capital and the right locations, that the city would let you build a 60 unit, 6-story. That makes sense. But that missing middle is that middle ground for a lot of people. People have experience in single family homes, maybe duplexes up to 3 units, something like that. And you want to get into something a little more complicated, a little bit bigger, but you're not jumping right into a part 3 building, right? And you're not requiring 20 million in capital instead of 2.
Right.
It's that kind of pushes you in one direction, and then and so the vision for Missing Middle Solutions was just to at least to start, was just to create housing for young urban families, and hopefully keep it at a price point where families that, you have like mom and dad living in Victoria, sons and daughters can also live in Victoria. They don't have to go to Langford or Souk to afford a place to raise their family.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, we have that conversation a lot with people where they're moving out of the city because they can't find something they can afford. So it's great having developers like you guys bringing in stuff where it works. I love it. And Rob, what was it like working with the city on this one?
I mean, holistically, it was actually a bit of a breath of fresh air. So I'd been working with larger developers on larger projects, and we'd been going through the whole rigmarole of public hearings and rezonings that take many years in some cases. And it's a long process and really convoluted and so much red tape. With the new Schedule P missing middle zoning bylaw in Victoria, it was actually, really refreshing that a lot of that was all that red tape was removed. It's still the similar process. It's still challenging.
It's a question of perspective.
Yeah. So, I mean, compared to in contrast, I mean, really, really nice. But I think, for a new developer, or just like the mom and pop developers that the city is actually trying to cater to with this type of zoning, it's still a bit challenging. Definitely helped to have that background and expertise in it, because it's still, there's a lot of landmines to navigate around. But overall, I think it's been pretty good. We have a couple other projects on the go, and it's interesting just to sort of see how different staff kind of interpret your plans, and it's unfortunately it's a little bit subjective. So other projects can go a little bit smoother if you have more agreeable staff to work with. We had a couple staff members on this application that were a little challenging at times, but overall I think it was
and I'm sure everyone after you is going to be so happy that you paved the way and can maybe set the precedent of what you're supposed to be doing, because I feel like being the first ones, I guess
I'm glad that you highlighted that point, because I think we actually are the first ones to get one across the finish line, but and at least into construction.
Oh, definitely. I think we're the first one. We are the first ones across the finish line. There was another guy that was really close, but I think like by round 3, submission 3, he kind of backed off and just tried to sell his project.
So that's the thing. Being the first ones, I feel like it's uncharted territory. Even the people you're working with, maybe there's not a framework of exactly what this is supposed to look like, or what is what they're supposed to be doing. So
did that kind of feel like your experience in speaking with some of the staff, where maybe this was uncharted waters for them as well?
Totally. Actually, what was really interesting was like having worked with them on, and some of the same staff on previous applications, bigger applications under the old process. They really had a total mindset shift, or at least most of them did, where they were actually being really supportive and trying to actually get, the city was really, they'd spent a lot of time and invested a lot of resources to try and get this new bylaw off the ground, and it wasn't getting much uptake. So they were working really hard to try and get some traction and success. And so, we found that they were actually quite supportive for the most part.
That's good.
Yeah.
Especially our planner was really awesome, to say it bluntly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think when working with any municipality, you're going to get a couple of different aspects and layers to it. Like from a political standpoint, obviously Victoria has created the opportunity for this to happen by creating Schedule P, which is awesome. They're even making more bold changes now to the OCP. So like next year, things are going to look completely different for development in Victoria. I'm excited for that. But then you have the people below it, and every person is just a little bit different to deal with, and they have their own opinions and like Rob said, subjectivity sometimes. But then below that is the policies, and sometimes you just run into policies that even though the bylaw says they kind of want to go in this direction, that's the intent, they're still bound by the policies.
Right.
But I have had conversations with higher managers in the city, and they were saying like they were actively having conversations with their staff and saying like, hey guys, like we really shouldn't be commenting at this point on window placement as an example. Whereas before they, and in the larger processes, like they felt that was something they should be doing, and that mindset shift is happening now. It's not as easy as Lisa helped said. It's not like building a single family house. It's not that simple, but it's definitely somewhere in the middle between that and developing a larger scale project.
Yeah, very cool.
That's really promising to hear, definitely, because I mean sometimes you come across like the NIMBYs and they're just putting up more red tape, so it's good to hear that it might get easier for people moving forward. And right now, like you said, there's not a lot of uptick for this sort of project. Why do you guys think that developers aren't building this sort of thing yet?
I think it's very hard. Like it's even with a lot of the red tape gone, I mean it is a bit of a question of how much brain damage are you willing to take to get through the process. It's difficult. There's a lot of moving pieces. Even these smaller projects, there's quite a lot of capital required. It's a very capital intensive type of project, and even though the scale isn't as big as some of the other big developers are working on in our city, it's still challenging. It takes a team.
I have heard, it takes a team, and I've heard some people say that it takes almost as much work to do a small project as it does to do a bigger project. All right, if I do, so if I do, we do
all the same permits, all the same,
same permits, same size of sub-consultants or like architect down sort of thing. You still need a contractor. You still have to make the design decisions. Like it's all the same. The questions: are you making the choice of toilets for 12 units or the choice of toilets for 1,200?
Yeah.
True.
That's a good point. I guess throughout this process, what's one thing that you guys, I guess that the general public might not have when it comes to building affordable housing, versus say someone who's building luxury, or like, what are the struggles that you guys have kind of come along with trying to keep prices low, and to build this quote unquote missing middle product?
I think probably the biggest one is just all of the various fees and frankly taxes that are levied on the project. When you really add them all up, like at least 20 to 30% of the cost of your home, a brand new home, is actually just taxes. It is really nice to hear different levels of government are now actually finally addressing this, and especially the federal government trying to create bridges to
they're not focusing on foreign buyers anymore or anything else. They're like, oh wait, we're the problem.
Well, because they'll make these like blanket statements saying we need more affordable housing and we're going to provide however much, but then you're on the ground with the developers and they're saying it's too expensive for us to build it, and that's where the government can help, is in these taxes and to lower costs for the buyers. So hopefully they will.
I actually just did some very rough math, and it's going to come out on our social media channel here in the next couple months.
Okay.
But I put it together like on a per square foot basis on average, looking at the different ranges for hard, soft, land costs, all that stuff. And basically what you end up with is around $600 to $700 a square foot to build, in that 1,000 square foot unit range. If you build bigger units, the price of square foot comes down. Or you build tiny units, the price actually goes up. So making brand new quote affordable housing is very challenging. I definitely go for the word attainable.
Yeah.
And I would say attainable, like on Emerson Street, the idea of attainable is you have one government worker and one part-time parent, or maybe you have two incomes, but it's definitely not like you're not going to buy these things on a single starter income making $28 an hour.
Yep.
That's just not the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's that way because you're $150 a square foot just for your land price. You're 300 and some for your build cost, no matter what. And then with all the soft costs and the fees and the taxes, like Rob said, I mean, there's another $100 a square foot for that, and you haven't even made profit yet.
Yeah, and I mean, like, new housing has to be viewed as at least some form of luxury, right? So, I mean, you're right to put the quote on it as like this is the most affordable thing or affordable. New construction is always looked at as a bit of a luxury versus resale. So. That makes sense. Kind of transitioning over to, I guess, the building side of building the actual project. Why did you guys choose Emerson Street first for the project?
I remember pulling up to the place. It was like the 6th or 7th place we kind of looked at, and frankly, you could find projects at a decent price on the market at that time because nobody was buying. Everyone was scared in 2023. Right. So lucky for us. But yeah, I showed up and the realtor was there and he was like, I think this is the one, Dale. This is it. And I was like, just looking at it, he came in. I knew we wanted to look for something that was a nice flat lot. Yeah. I did not understand the impact that trees could have at that point. Yep. And because of the way the fence was built, I thought they were my trees. Turns out they were the city's trees, and that caused a lot of money and heartache. But that's basically why I looked at it. I'm like, it's wide enough that I can put on it what I think needs to happen, because I figured out by that point that the width really made a difference. Yeah. Or at least in ease of constructability, just like even now it's still feels a little tight on the site based on the width that we've built, but that's a story for another day. Yeah. So yeah, the overall square footage and the lot width, and it was flat, and there weren't any obvious signs of topography challenges. Yeah, so.
But you also love the Jubilee area, right?
So okay, yeah. Flat. Sorry, I'm going so into the minutia here. I'm going into the minutia. Sorry.
You're good.
The Jubilee. Yeah, no. So I did look at the Jube, and I was like, oh man, to be a nurse or a doctor, to be like super close, if you're or to be a landlord of a rental building that's like right there. You're 8 minutes to downtown on a bike. You got Camosun College just up the road. You're 15 minutes by transit to UVic. Yep. I'm like, I could work anywhere in the city and be there in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, and in our other podcast that'll be coming out later, we sat down with Victoria Barr, and we talked about the exact site for 1789 Emerson, and just about how it's getting close to being kind of that complete community. And what that means is like the 15-minute city. You have coffee shops, you have parks, you have schools, you have the hospital, you have grocery, and it's accessible by bike and by transit for mostly everything around it.
Oak Bay Rec Center too.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in Victoria, surprisingly, there's not a ton of neighborhoods like it where it does have all of those things.
Yeah, and right now it's mostly residential single-family homes. So adding in that density and allowing a different demographic into is a good thing. So yeah. What were some of the biggest design and zoning hurdles that you guys faced building this sixplex?
Do you want to talk about the zoning hurdles? There's one in particular I'm thinking of.
Oh, go for it. I got some design ones, but
okay. I'll talk about the zoning hurdle, and you talk about the design challenges. So I do remember Rob having to put in a ton of working through the parking. Working through. So we have one parking stall on site that is designated for a moto car share. Yeah. And the street is designated for residential parking. So people who would live here would look to highly utilize that moto car share. Or if they have a vehicle of their own, park it on the street, right? Yeah. And because of the the way the bylaw is written, you're supposed to have one stall plus an accessible stall,
Okay.
right, for handicap parking of some
Right.
kind. And so the drive aisle width that we had to have as well, again, bylaw regulation upon regulation, you had to have a 4.5 meter drive aisle. So the expectation is you pull in a 4.5 meter drive aisle and you kind of shimmy off to the left, and that's one parking stall. And then you shimmy off to the right and there's your other parking stall, and everyone's okay with that, right?
Yeah.
And technically it works. And so for the city transportation department, they're like, this works, we've done studies, this works. And we're like, but then when you say that to Moto or whoever you're going to have for the car share, they want a little extra space. Their stuff needs to be bigger because they don't want people dinging their cars and stuff. I'm like, I get that, right?
Yeah.
So in order to get a Moto car share on there, you needed a wider stall. And now all of a sudden 4.5 meters doesn't work.
Yeah.
And now it just physically can't work. So I think 7 or 8 iterations of different parking opportunity or ways to configure the parking in order to, and this is their variance process, was to go through 7 or 8 different options, draw them all out, show them what you think is the best one to start, then go through all the other ones and then show them why they don't work,
Right.
just to circle back to why this one option that's going to work. And for us it was, hey, we just can't have this accessible parking stall in a building where at the time, because of the way we had it set up, there were no accessible units. Now there's 2 that you can at least you can access from the ground level. They're not wide enough really to have wheelchairs and stuff like that in them, but
that actually circles back to being pioneers in this thing and working with the city, who were also very new to the whole thing. In the original Schedule P, and I think actually we were instrumental in making this change. The original requirement, they had all these parking requirements. We actually met the parking requirement with providing a Moto stall, so no problem at all there. But they had this additional requirement where you needed an accessible stall. None of our units were accessible, all that stuff. So we were already meeting the requirement, but they wanted us to add this additional token stall. And so hence all the iterations. And we're just trying to show them well, there are trade-offs for doing all this stuff. So it's we could add that, but we would need you to let us widen the driveway, or we would have to remove these trees, which we've been spending so much time and money, frankly, to protect. And eventually they basically came back to what we'd originally proposed. So anyway.
It's the outfits.
But that's not after literally a month and a half of back and forth, and at least $10,000 in $10,000 in time and money.
What I'm getting at here is if you want to be a developer, you have to be really good at banging your head against the wall, just over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. A sucker for punishment.
Yeah, and then Rob, you said you had some design hurdles that you had to go through.
I mean, every project's got its own design hurdles and stuff like that. But I thought one kind of funny one is actually a building code item. And so in the rear yard of the site, we have these 2 big bike rooms, essentially.
Oh yeah, the bike.
And so every unit comes with 2 oversized bike storage lockers. So everyone could have at least 2 cargo bikes and so forth. So we designed that we had a lot of battles with the city on how big the openings need to be for this and so forth. So we acquiesced and did what they want. But because of a detail in the building code, because of fire separations and stuff like that, because these are technically another structure on your site, and they were too close to the building, we actually had to build these buildings out of concrete, as opposed to just building garden shed, really well built.
They're not bike shelters. They're bomb shelters.
Yeah, so
they're bunkers.
They look, they unpainted right now, but we won't be able to tell later. But they are literally bomb shelters. So
okay,
not a bad thing for the apocalypse.
That's new marketing.
There
we go.
Throw that in the brochure.
They're not bike shelters. They're multi-purpose. If there's an apocalypse.
and any design things that people end up looking at when these are being sold, and they're like, oh, I don't really like that. We're just gonna it's just gonna be one of those things we had to for building code, right?
It'll be the thing we laugh about 20 years from now.
It's not our fault. It's
I will
fault.
say that I think they're great, but they're just overbuilt. they would have been fine without being made out of concrete.
Very secure for bikes.
Very secure.
Yeah.
Extra secure.
Extra secure.
storage.
And
For
I
no
mean,
expense.
for what people are paying for e-bikes nowadays,
It's true.
you want that
This is true.
concrete.
That's true.
So we actually these thoughts did come into our mind as we were designing the site, because we did have an opportunity to put the bike storage out front, and in fact the city kind of was like that would have been preferable to them, and obviously they prefer it inside the building, but if that's not an option, they're like at the front. I'm like no, I mean I wouldn't want to park a $5,000 e-bike out front. Let's put it in the back or one in the backyard, right? Like the principles of, I have an association with the police department here. I volunteer there, and so I'm always thinking about these things about crime prevention through environmental design, right? Like we got the hedges that are going to come in, and they're just going to like not block off the street, but just like force
Add the privacy.
traffic and add the privacy from the street, right? But still make the accessibility have accessibility to the unit. We thought that out as we were making the designs on the site.
Awesome. Now, Rob, I think this might be a question for you, but going through and I guess picking the finishings well, actually, I guess, Dale, this would be you as well for layout and size of the units. How did can you talk to me a little bit about your process of picking those kind of things?
Well, we want to maybe talk layout. Maybe.
Yeah.
Talking layout. Well, I mean, first of all, the 3-bedroom units are a requirement from the city.
Yeah.
Which is fine. The family size units or the family, like having 3 bedrooms is great. We really just picked the unit layouts based on on what was required and what we could do to maximize the buildable square feet on the site.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you have a 6,000 square foot lot and you can build 6,000 square feet, you don't build 2,000. I mean, that's just silly. And so we just kind of maximized the amount of bedrooms and the amount of people that we could house. For the layout. I think that's how we chose that, and then the rest was guided by creating as many open spaces or as much open space as we could, and creating that flow that you need in a place, and adding those nice features that everyone seems to demand in the marketplace, like the walk-in closets. 3 bedrooms have en suites, right? Like and that enabled us to get into this point where we're picking our design elements based on kind of like what we felt like the market might demand. Because at the end of the day, if you're living in your 2-bedroom rental or your 3-bedroom rental, and it's probably okay, it's probably pretty nice, but if you're going to buy something, you want to feel like you're upgrading, not side grading.
Definitely.
Totally. Yeah. In terms of finishes and things, so we worked with a really nice local interior design company called Spaces.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. And yeah, they were awesome. It was a really good collaboration. We kind of came to them with a bit of a story of like who we thought the end buyer could be, and what the aesthetic of the exterior was going to be, and how that could be kind of tied into or complemented by the interior, and the level of finishing that we wanted to have, and like the feeling that we wanted people to experience when they got in there. So we wanted spa-like bathrooms and so forth, which you guys hear all the time. But we really wanted to bring in lots
really
of...
are spa-like.
They are.
They are. Yeah.
No, but we wanted natural elements and things like that, and and some things that would be add a little bit of character without trying to be too bold and ostentatious with design. And so I think they nailed it.
I think they did as well.
Palette. I think it's appealing to a lot of people. And what we did do is just make sure that we weren't cutting corners anywhere. We went with very nice premium fixtures and finishes. Tried to put it all together in a really cohesive, nice way, and I don't know, I'm proud of it.
It looks great.
When we met with Spaces, I really liked that they kind of told this story, and like the choices made had meaning versus like I feel like I've been to other developments or showrooms and they're explaining their choices, and it's like, just the standard, you know what I mean? Like this development used this one, so we're using this, and there's a couple nice, I guess, statement choices that were made that I think are quite tasteful and match the aesthetic of the build and the area, and I think it's awesome.
It's all very thoughtful throughout, which is nice to see, because like Adrian said, there's so many of them where it's just you can tell that, you know, it's about the cost, the overall cost of the building. And a lot of buyers can see that. They, you know, they're like, but they did the bare minimum here. So
Yeah, we definitely made, like, I mean, obviously you know what the price of things will range, right? And that was a topic because you have to maintain the attainability aspect. But a side story here, we asked our contractor to do some value engineering for us, and that's just a natural part of the process. If the, you know, like say the quartz countertop that was spec'd is $2,000 a square foot for some reason, and you can get a comparable product for $100, obviously you do that, right?
Yeah.
But they asked us, they were like, well, if you change to chrome faucets, you can save, like, it was like $12,000. And I'm like, $12,000 is a good chunk of money. And I'm like, but then we'd have to move away from the black faucets that we have, and those were chosen very specifically. And it's like no, so we're going to keep that, right? And we want, because the end user experience is more important than the cost of a few dollars on the project.
Yeah. And I think that's an awesome choice, because I'm envisioning chrome faucets in there, and I'm like, that just wouldn't fit.
So I mean, it would be hard to picture them now.
Yeah. Now I'm committed. So
yeah. I think we're just going to touch now on kind of what it would be like to live at Emerson, because you guys clearly had someone in mind when you were building this project. So, I mean, what kind of person or lifestyle did you guys see moving into these homes?
I mean, I personally live this lifestyle quite a bit. I used to live in the downtown. Now I live just outside of the downtown, but I've always gravitated towards like neighborhoods that were fully like amenity rich, where you could live literally the walkable lifestyle, like car optional lifestyle. I mean, I do have a car. I share it with my wife, but
hey, one car is that's pretty good. It's better than me.
We had two cars, and we quickly realized we don't need to. So we
yeah.
got rid of one. And being in a place where you can walk everywhere is like so key. And if you're designing kind of for if it's something that you would love to live in, I'm sure there's a big market out there for that. And so, so people that are also into that walkable, car-free lifestyle, it's going to be great. I really like the 2-bedroom units. They're kind of cool because they've got kind of like almost like a den, but like a little office nook off the stair landing on the second floor.
Yeah. I love that
and
feature.
They've got some really nice windows, and you're kind of in the treetops, literally. And so it's going to be a really lovely place to have like a home office or a little reading nook or something. Yeah. So I could totally see, a young couple there, maybe with like a kid, really enjoying it.
Yeah, I would echo that. I would say imagine, mom and dad wake up in the morning, they have one kid, get the kid ready. Mom or dad jumps on their bike, rides downtown to the office, the government office or something like that downtown. Yeah. And the other parent walks the kid to work or kid to school. It's just up the street, just up Richmond. And then it like takes them 5-10 minutes, and they walk back and they go to their job, their shift at the hospital. All right. They walk home, let their dog out at lunch hour, finish up their day, pick up the kid, come home, have dinner. And then there's that office nook, like you said, upstairs, while they walk down to Oak Bay Rec or take the moto down to Oak Bay Rec because it's raining. Kids got swimming lessons, come home, do it all again the next day, sort of thing.
That was beautifully put.
It was,
I was actually just envisioning
yeah.
that. I was like, that's me. Like, I'm living my life.
Yeah, which, I mean, there is so many people in that demographic that are looking for something like this, where it's like single family is not quite achievable in terms of price point if they're looking for that newer product. But you're still, I love that you guys have really, like, you've thought it out. You've thought of every aspect of their daily life. And today's parents' time is like the biggest killer. So to get that time back and to have everything that close, I'm like, I'm in heaven just thinking about it. I want to move there.
the other demographic, and I don't think this is the target, but now that you guys have the entry level living units, someone who maybe lives in that Jubilee area and is on a bit of a budget with their downsize, like maybe they only had a townhome that they're selling, or they're not selling a $3 million Oak Bay house. I think that those single level no stair entry level units would actually be decent for a downsizer as well.
Well, because Jubilee's right there as well, so that's another thing.
So mom and dad downsizing, your grandparents, mom and dad,
Yes.
downsizing, moving in, son or daughter and grandchildren in a 2-bedroom unit upstairs, and they're down.
Oh, it'd be
And now you got
amazing.
multi-generational living, right?
That's
I
the
love
dream.
that.
Yeah.
Just find that family and just sell them the whole place.
Right? I know. I'm like,
I will
yeah.
sell the whole place.
That'd
I
be
promise.
fantastic. Yeah. And what's some of the feedback that you guys have received about these units? What have people loved when they're kind of looking them over?
Oh yeah, like I think the finishing is definitely one piece. I think people really like the finishes that were selected, and just the overall aesthetic. Actually, we had a couple meetings with some of the neighbors. I mean, our immediate neighbor we've met with quite a few times, but people from out the street. And we showed them plans and renderings of the building with the final color scheme and all that, and they really liked it because they said that it fit really well within the neighborhood. The fact that it was a little bigger than some of the older single family homes, but it kept the style, the character. So that was one piece.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Definitely
I think it does fit the neighborhood quite well. Like you said, I think it has like that heritage feel, almost kind of like the conversions that have turned into 3 or 4 units in the neighborhood. I think it kind of embodies the new version of that. And it's not like this flat roofed, blacked out, urban, like someone getting letters in the mailbox like, get this atrocity off my street. I think people are going to look at your guys' development and I think it fits in quite well. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully welcome future developments like this, because that is a fear that people
Yes,
have, is that
definitely.
developers are going to come in, they're going to bulldoze the whole neighborhood, and they're going to be living next to a bunch of big multiplexes. But this one, it just fits so well. Like, you've taken so much into consideration with making sure it blends with the neighborhood. So I'm hopeful it'll make people feel more positive about development coming into their neighborhoods instead of as a negative.
I mean, I'm
Thumbs
debating
up.
whether to dive into that can of worms, because I do feel it's one of those things where I think the construction, no matter what you do,
Doesn't matter
developments,
what.
it's going to be
Yeah.
disruptive to their lives. And I actually feel, I do feel for the neighbors. Like they had to chip out some rock in the driveway for like 3 days. So I really feel bad about that. I mean, I can't do anything about it, but I feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And yes, it is taller than everything else there, but you do the best you can to make it comfortable, to speak with the neighbors and be a direct line for them. And sometimes they want to gripe about stuff, and you just got to be there to listen a little bit, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their opinions are valid, right? And you need to be listened
100%.
to. And it does seem like you guys took a lot of that into consideration.
Yeah, one of the neighbors has been living there like 50 years. Like,
Yeah.
Big change.
and all of a sudden it's a big change on them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to be sensitive to that.
Well, I will say, and this speaks to infill development generally, but oftentimes it can be a real improvement to a city or to a neighborhood. In this case, the old property, when it was vacant, there was a lot of kind of nefarious stuff happening in the backyard, and the fact that we're developing that and cleaning it up, the neighborhood no longer has to deal with that anymore, and that's a big boon.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Maybe it's one of those things where you pick your poison. You can have, if you have a derelict house on the street, you get that opportunity to, if it gets developed, you'll have something nicer, and you won't have the hoodlums hanging around as much. But at the same time, you have to go through a little bit of
Construction pain.
Yeah, a little bit of construction.
Short-term pain, long-term gain.
But you guys interviewed Rolling Tides, I believe.
Yeah,
We
we did
did,
this morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, having worked with lots of different contractors, like, they are top notch, and I think they've been really great and trying to be really responsive to the neighbors. So I think that's another key to it, is to try and lessen the pain as best you can, and I think they do a good job of that. But
Yeah, absolutely. It's about who's working on your site for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an
Yeah.
awesome chat with him. So.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got a good crew. And yeah, that makes a difference. Even just, what's happening at the construction site in the backyard
totally.
sometimes is quite hilarious. So it's it sounds like none of that's going on. So let's now talk about, I guess, affordability, attainability. Why don't we talk about kind of what's unique about the price point of these and who can actually qualify for them?
Everyone looked at me because I'm the numbers guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's unique in So
What's unique about the price point?
I mean, the price point. I mean, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, did we release prices? Yes, we did.
Yeah,
we
we're
released
good.
prices. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're right around that $800,000 mark for 2 and 3 bedroom units.
Yeah.
In Victoria, the rear units having mountain glimpses,
Yeah.
right out the south facing yard, right? So you get common yard space, you get 900 square feet of living space, and to get that in this city is pretty challenging.
Yeah. Especially
Yep.
for
I wanna
products.
say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
definitely.
We
I
see it firsthand.
Don't see, I mean, thinking about the price point, I just think we are on definitely the low side,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like I would say, like looking at listings, I think we looked up how many like townhomes are under, or even not even townhomes. It was like 2 bedrooms over 850 square feet in that whole Jubilee area, and I think there's
nothing.
3.
Yeah.
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 It's hard to find. Yeah.
And then when looking at other townhome developments or other offerings, I'm seeing brand new product coming in at $1 million to 1.1, and I'm looking at that, I'm like, man, that's like a little bit out of touch. I'm like, I get like there is a demographic for that product, but I'm just kind of like, I have lots of friends. Like I'm not super old. I'm 30, and my friends are looking at that product, and there's no chance.
I mean, most buyers I have the conversation with where you're in that like 1.1, 1.2 townhouse, they're like, I'm just going to try and get a house. Even though it's going to be a little bit older, I'm going to have to renovate it.
Yep.
Whereas like where we're sitting in price, it's a better product than a condo. It's brand new and you're paying for a townhouse. It's fantastic. So it's still thinking of that lifestyle of someone who wants more than a condo and has that kind of like walkout. So I think you guys have nailed it in terms of pricing. There's not a lot like it out there right now.
Yeah, it does. The product does blend between condo and townhouse. So you may have like the 3 bedrooms, maybe single floor, shaped like a condo, maybe, but you get to walk out onto your private porch area, and you get to go into your backyard.
You're not sitting in a condo trying to load groceries up 13 floors.
Yeah.
You're not waiting for elevators, that type of thing, right? And then the townhouses, you walk up a level, and the 2 bedrooms are more like a 2-bedroom townhouse.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I mean?
really like the layout where you have like the living space, your guest bathroom, and your kitchen, and then you have like that single family spiral kind of staircase up, and you have the bedroom privacy up top. Versus a condo, like your bedroom's off the living room. If you're showering or something, you're walking out past your guests to get to your bedroom. If it's a 2-bed 1 bath, whatever. So yeah, I think it offers it a bit more of a luxury in terms of the offering.
Well, even in the 3 bedrooms that you mentioned, like the showering type thing, right? We had the kitchen and the living room obviously at the front, and then the bath, the main bath there beside it, and then across the hall is quote unquote a bedroom, but that's like the small bedroom, and that's like, in my opinion, I think people will probably use that more like an office. So if you want an office and you want to be able to close your door, like that's your place. So then both of the bathrooms are actually at the back.
Yeah.
So it's a little more
separation.
a little more separation. And if you got a kid and you're watching TV out in the living room, you're not going to the TV, like my kid's TV. Or my kid's bedroom is right off the living room. Yeah. So we have to like wear headphones at night to watch TV, so that we don't keep him awake. So I mean, you
Sounds
don't have
like you
that
should
here.
get one of these units. Though.
I put my money where my mouth is. And buy my own product. Yeah.
It's good though. I mean, it's the livability of a unit, which
100%.
is kind of what's lacking in some sort. When we're trying to convince people to go to a strata where they're not functional, it's challenging because you're looking at how is my life going to work, and more we're at home with multiple parents at home, with kids at home, or even in 2 couples, you've got both working from home on Zoom meetings in separate spaces. So to have the separation it's great.
I think that's what separates guys like Rob and myself from some people who may be coming into the space right now, or people who want to think about making that leap in. And we had this conversation the other day. Some people want to come in and make a buck, just like slap any old floor plan out there. I mean, you probably sell them, you probably make money. But people who sweat these details of the livability and like really trying to serve the person that's going to be using that unit. I think that's what's going to set us apart.
Yeah,
overall.
I agree.
definitely. Awesome. Well, my next question was actually, what kind of value would somebody be getting in one of these townhomes versus a condo? We kind of already touched on the differences in that. So I guess moving over to, in the units, you guys ended up choosing some more high-end finishes. And now this is an attainable project. What was the reason? Obviously you wanted to provide more for your clients and, give that extra mile. But is there any other kind of reason you can give that, like, why you went with more high-end finishes and better design choices than just these attainable, I guess, general products?
I mean, my personal opinion is that you spend money where people are going to realize the value. Trying to think of a good example here. Heat pump.
Yeah.
Right, we have heat pumps. They're good heat pumps.
Yeah. Every unit's air conditioned. Yeah.
Yeah. We went with the ductless mini splits. All right, so you have one main head in the bath or in the living area and one main head in the main bedroom, master bedroom. And that's fine. It's a great setup.
Yeah. I would say most even like luxury units that are being built now, that's like the standard. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, you could go to, say, a ducted system, which we managed to do in our bigger projects.
Yeah.
This one, it wouldn't have worked. But we save money by not trying to put in this ducted system. At the end of the day, is the user going to experience much of a difference between a ducted heat pump and a ductless mini split? Probably not that much.
No.
But will they appreciate in-floor heating in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Well, they've just yeah.
That's how we make our design choices. A lot of the thing is like, where can we save money without skimping on quality that where people aren't going to see it, and then how do we transfer that into value for the end user? So in-floor heating, just being that one example.
Yeah. And that is one of the few things that really stands out even now today for me when I go to a home, especially if it's winter and it's cold out, and then you're walking around, you walk into one of the bathrooms and the heat hits your feet and you're like, ooh, this place is nice.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere. I don't know why that hit so hard, but it definitely does.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan. I don't like cold feet.
No.
Not into it.
Awesome. Now, why do you guys think that this would be like a smart purchase for, say, a first-time home buyer, or even, let's focus on the first-time home buyers.
Oh, dude. Okay. I had this. I haven't told you.
I have thoughts too.
I had this conversation with a mortgage broker the other day, and I pointed something out to them, and they were like, their eyes kind of like went wide.
Yeah. Okay.
So check this thing out with the new first-time home buyer GST rebate.
Yeah.
Okay. So first-time home buyer has 5% down.
Yeah. Which is all that's required, by the way.
If they qualify, talk to your mortgage broker.
Yes, if you qualify. Let's assume you're trying to do this with 5% down.
Yeah.
You have 5% down. You put your 2.5% down on contract with us. You 2.5% on closing. Great. So you're at 5%.
Yeah.
All right. And then you apply for your GST rebate of 5%. And like most mortgage brokers, most loans will allow you to amortize your GST into your purchase price. So we're $800,000 for one of the 2-bedroom units plus 5%, whatever that math is. That's that minus the 5% down. That's their loan value, right? And they put in 5%, and then they put the rebate in. They apply for the rebate. They get that 5% back from the government. They've just bought a house with 0% down.
Yeah.
So you put in your $40,000 down payment that you start with, you let it go for a couple of weeks till you get your rebate, and you put $40,000 back in your pocket, and you walk away with a house and you reinvest or go buy a new car or whatever the heck it is you want to do with that $40,000.
Yeah.
So that's why I think first-time home buyers should be looking at our product.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, with the new GST rebate, it was definitely a bit of a game changer.
Kind of a no-brainer, yeah.
For a new product.
I will take a free house, please. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think, some people won't realize that it is a rebate. It's not. So there will still be GST, but it'll come back to them.
Yeah, as long as their mortgage broker allows them to amortize the 5% into the overall cost of the product, which most do up until this point. I mean, that's why I was like saying to the mortgage broker, I'm like, are they okay with that? Are lenders okay with that?
How long until they close
How
the
long
loophole?
until they figure it out?
Yeah.
Hopefully not before we sell these units.
No, I feel like we got a year.
Yeah, that's funny. And then Rob, did you?
Yeah, well, I think just generally, I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier, but you look at the product types that are out there on the market. So, you look at all the condos that are struggling to kind of move right now. The 1 and 2 bedroom condos. There's fewer and fewer single family homes that are attainable to buy or easier to buy. But then you look at this type of product, and it's rare, so it should hold its value longer. I mean, that would be my bet.
Yeah.
And this being a Canadian podcast, I have to throw in a hockey reference, but as developers, you kind of want to skate to where the puck is going.
Yeah.
And so buying and investing on the fringe of neighborhoods that are, they're gentrifying, that are kind of up and coming is usually a good bet, because you're kind of riding a rising tide.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to get into a really established neighborhood, really paying a premium for that. Those will hold their value typically, but
just tough to get
the
into.
growth potential isn't as high.
And the growth potential, that's a good point.
Well, and for first-time homebuyers, that's a huge factor to consider, because most of them aren't going to be in their first home for the next 30 years. They're going to be in until they move up the property ladder, which has become more challenging because some properties don't appreciate in value the same way. So it's hard for them to get out and into something else. Whereas what you guys have created, I think, is a really good stepping stone on the property ladder. It's not a condo. It's something better than that. So it's a great first place for people to dip their toe into the market and be able to move out when their lifestyle's ready for it. So
yeah, it's definitely like a first step, maybe a second step, and then if you're a downsizer into the 3 bedrooms, it could be your final step, maybe. But there's definitely room to grow from there. But one of the things we haven't actually mentioned is it's not just about first-time home buyers; it's also the pet lovers. Let's be honest here. I think that's a really cool thing. Like 3 cats or dogs. I mean, how many condos can you get?
None.
None.
Literally, I mean, that's a huge problem that we have I have someone right now who's looking who has 2 small dogs, and it's really challenging to find a strata that allows that in the area that they want to be in.
I wouldn't even say challenging. I think it might be impossible.
It is, honestly.
Like the most you see is 2 dogs.
Yeah.
No size restrictions.
At this point, I'm like, paint your dog like that dog and just pretend it's one dog, and we'll just call it a day. Because
that's tricky. They have to do double the walks.
I know. Yeah. It's not really an option, but yeah. So I mean, even having the fact that you're going to allow this, it's just gives people that much more flexibility in their lives, and again takes out another issue that people have with stratas, which is it's preventative to their lifestyle. So
I actually part of the reason, like, I mean, you guys brought it up when we were talking about the strata documents, but I was like, I thought of a friend of ours who like they're I don't want to say well-off individuals, but like one's a university professor, one works for one of the social services downtown for the homeless people. Yeah. But they have a lot of pets. And so even though they were like, at one point they were trying to buy a place and they just couldn't find a place. Yeah. And so I thought of them and I was like, man, if I had existed like 3-4 years ago, I could have helped them. But that's like, that was the thing, right? Some people don't have kids. They have fur babies. And that's cool. Yeah. It's totally fine.
Bring them all.
Come in that camp.
Yeah.
come. Yeah.
Well, nobody,
fur babies.
You don't encounter buyers that are like, it's fine, I'll just sell off one of my dogs. It's like, those are their babies. They're coming with
I'll just rent forever.
Yeah. They're like, they would rather rent and not get rid of a dog. So
people will go with like a smaller bedroom, but like you have to make room for the entire family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, it's great. It's just, I don't know, the more we can encourage people to get into properties like this and strata, and the easier we can help with the housing market and kind of cover all the bases. It is really the missing middle right now.
Yeah, definitely. Jocelyn, do you want to take over on?
I sure do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is the fun part. We got through most of it, but how many homes are available at this time, and what happens when they're gone?
How many homes? Well, I mean, there's 6. There's 6 units. We thought about calling it the Emerson 6. But there's 6 units available right now. I mean, there's been a fair amount of interest. Some people saying they wanted to actually buy them and keep them as rental units, which, I mean, I guess that's fine. Yeah.
Still providing housing.
People are going to live there. It's okay. So I actually don't expect a ton of uptick until people can until the drywall's on. Right. In a few, kind of like a month or two. got drywall on, people can really start to imagine the space. I think we'll see some good demand at that point. But yeah, we just launched just last week technically. Not even on
We're
MLS.
not on MLS
It was
yet.
kind of
right?
like a realtor launch, kind of
Yeah.
getting the information
Soft
out there.
open.
Soft open, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're
exactly.
aiming to be live. I don't know when this podcast is going to air, but I think we're aiming to be out live this week.
It'll be live whenever this comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be live. So. Hopefully there'll be one left at that stage.
Yeah. But yeah, 6. And then I guess, like, is there anything comparable even coming up in the Jubilee area? Like, so when these 6 units sell, like, is it like, oh, well, I'll just grab the next one?
Well, I think not in this area. I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely other small infill developers doing some product that it's going to come out like shortly after these ones are done. But I mean, the price point, those are already on the market and the price point is higher.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
So no, there's no competition. But what's one thing that you would tell a buyer that's sitting on the fence? It's a little more timid with everything going on.
Yeah.
Not to put you on the
Oh
spot.
my gosh. Yeah, that totally put me on the spot. I'm not a sales guy. Like I don't like trying to push people.
Yeah, you want somebody who this is meant for, and they feel really good about buying this product.
Yeah. If I need to convince you, it's probably not the right one.
Yeah.
But I think we've done a really good job of building for a very specific type of person. And I think there's enough of those people in Victoria that, small families, fur babies working in the downtown area, have maybe one kid and they want to live close to where they work. I think there's enough of those people around. If that's you and you're listening to this, or that's, realtors listen to your podcast, I guess.
A lot of them, yeah.
So if you have a client like that, this would be something to show them.
Yeah.
But if it's not right for them and they need 2 cars, like, we'll see you in Langford, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, not even in Langford anymore. There's no parking.
No parking in Langford. See you in Souk, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go
Souk.
Mill Bay.
Souk's the new Langford.
Well, guys, I think that kind of wraps up, I guess, all of our hard-hitting questions. If you guys have maybe 5 more minutes, do you have time for a couple fun questions?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm the definition of fun.
Yeah, I know. Dale.
These ones
Yeah.
usually stump people more than the actual
They actually
questions,
do,
so
yeah.
I don't know.
So for both of you, what's one book, podcast, resource, news article newsletter that you recommend to someone interested in, I guess, development or something that even that you maybe it's not related to development, something that you're just interested in?
Why are you deferring to me, man?
You want more time
honestly,
to think.
I have a confession to make. I have definitely been riding the coattails of my latest self-development kind of not trend, but like the push for self-development.
Yeah.
I've been riding that coattail pretty hard.
Okay.
So I don't have a recent book that I've looked at. I would say.
Wait, you say sorry. Can you say it again? You're on the coattails of yourself.
No, I'm riding my own coattails. Like I did a lot of self-development last year, and this year I'm like, implement.
I did good. I'm just gonna start putting some stuff in.
Let's implement, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm the guy that I'll read a self-help book cover to cover, and then if I'm not careful, I just will forget about it next week.
No, that's me. I only read them, and then that's it. No, but yeah, go ahead.
No execution.
Yeah.
They just go into the
So for people
bookshelf.
getting into development, is that what you wanted?
Well, or it could be anything. Yeah, anything that you find interesting. Yeah.
Like traction.
Traction is good.
'Cause you're all
Yeah,
about that.
I was all about that, and I did implement that.
We
somewhat.
are all about that.
We are all about that. So yeah, so having there's a book called Traction.
Yeah.
Gino Wickman. There's a cool story for how he became the business coach he is, but just essentially getting really clear on goals and expectations for your company it's mainly about the company, but you can apply it to your life.
Yeah.
Getting clear on your expectations and your goals, having a system to go over what your goals are kind of on a weekly basis, and what are the next steps to implement, and then having some metrics to measure how successful you're being or not being.
Okay. Yeah. I actually have that one on my bookshelf. Haven't started it, but it's there.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I'm reading fantasy books right now.
Amazing.
Yeah. Rob, what about you?
So I'm reading a book I'm really enjoying right now. It's called The 5 Types of Wealth by
okay.
Sahil Bloom. And so it's not necessarily a real estate specific book,
Yeah.
but it's just a really good book that has like a little bit of advice, but really actually prompts you with some really interesting questions to look at all the areas of your life, and including
Some introspection.
investing and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I guess it's a personal growth book,
Yeah.
but I think it's really good, and I would totally recommend it to anyone in business or anyone actually.
Yeah, in general. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Do you guys, on the other spectrum, do you guys have any guilty pleasures, shows, movies, or hobbies that you're currently obsessed with?
What's a guilty pleasure hobby?
I don't know. Golfing every weekend?
That's yeah.
Okay,
That's-
what are you
development.
why are you
That
talking
is.
about?
That's
me?
a very yeah.
That is a guilty pleasure.
It's not like Lego or.
It could be, yeah.
My life is actually inundated right now between, if it's not work,
Yeah.
it's like I'm totally hyper focused on golf. I'm like, I am taking that
Trying to go pro, hey?
I'm already at the point where I'm like buying buckets of balls by the 10 pack and
Yeah.
like to go to the driving range. I'm going to go to the driving range when we're done here.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I thought it was because you lost all the balls last
I
time we played.
did. I definitely lost like 6 balls last night. playing golf.
That's not bad. Okay. Robert, what about you?
Guilty pleasure. Well, something I love to do is I watch Netflix like most people.
Yeah.
But there's a show called Somebody Feed Phil, which I
Okay.
think they're coming out with a new season. But
yeah.
my wife and I love this show. Basically, it's a travel food show.
Sure.
But it's really like a nice homey kind of thing. You can watch it with your kids. But it's a really fun show. The host is amazing, and yeah, just the places that you see around the world and the different cuisines and all that stuff. So we definitely love that.
Okay. Awesome. Great answer. What is one purchase that you have made in the last year under $1,500 that has changed your life? Or it could be in recent years if you're struggling with the 1 year thing.
Golf clubs.
Saw that one coming. Saw that one coming.
Actually, I'm actually trying to get a friend of a friend of a friend right now, and this is going to be past the podcast time, but
Yeah.
so when this airs, but is a friend of a friend of a friend has tickets to Game 5 in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And like lower bowl for like $1,400 we're trying to grab.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that'll be a guilty pleasure purchase,
Ooh.
and under the 1,500 mark.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. That's going to be awesome. Very cool.
Myself, it's not one thing, it's just a few little things, but they are
Sure.
definitely under $500. I upgraded my desk setup, so I have a little IKEA standing desk kind of thing, and then I got one of these desky monitor arms, so everything's just really nice.
So just cultivating your workspace,
yeah,
making
it's
it
just a
pleasant.
super comfortable place you can stand up.
That's nice. That's important.
Yeah.
I've recently done the same thing, and I'm excited to go to my office now.
Totally.
Yeah, versus before I'll be like cramped at my kitchen table on my laptop. I was like, that sucks.
I feel like we never spend money on the things that actually make our life a little bit better, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
having a work from home space is definitely a
Yeah,
necessity.
one day.
so
today's days.
nice. Yeah, mine is just an art station / where I put my computer. Not my art either.
Maybe there's this really cool product coming on the market. It's at 1789 Emerson Street.
Honestly, I would totally move there.
Yeah.
I would totally
yeah.
move there.
Um,
Save me one.
Yeah.
and then last fun question: if you could own any property in BC for free, where would it be, and what would it be? And you can't sell it for money, so don't think about just buying some $12 million property and cashing out.
1789 Emerson.
Well, you can't say 1789 Emerson. So where would it be? What would it be? Anywhere in BC, you get it for free.
I would own the Parliament buildings.
Wow, that's a great
cool.
answer. Have not heard that one before.
So I mean, they're so haunted.
Damn, you
Yeah.
got me. That's cheat
Yeah.
code.
I like the front yard.
Yeah.
Front yard
Wow,
would be
you
nice.
fence it in.
Imagine having your coffee out there
That
in the
would be
morning.
crazy.
Just like
Oh my god.
tourists
Watch-
wandering on.
It would be like
lawn.
it would be like the White House. And all the tourists would be like, oh,
Yeah.
who's that guy with his coffee and his newspaper? That would be hilarious.
100%.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
I'll get a comb over and
I'll get the
a blue suit and a red
Yeah.
tie and a comb over.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll take the Empress and then we'll be neighbors.
There we
The amenities
go.
are better there.
Well,
I
you
think.
can-
At the
Yeah.
Empress, yeah.
You can actually go in the tunnels
Between.
between.
Oh,
There's
really?
tunnels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's tunnels under Victoria.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the tunnel, but I didn't know you can actually go do that, or
Yeah.
do you have to know somebody?
Well, I mean, I think you
The
probably have
owner?
to be like
Yeah,
super special and important.
Right, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Rob, top that.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's
if
gonna be tough.
the Parliament buildings are taken, the Empress is taken. Oh,
Yeah.
I would totally go for the Empress. I think it's easy. I would do Bayview Place.
Bayview Place.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Is it Ken Mariash? He's sitting on probably the nicest piece of real estate in all Victoria.
Damn. Okay.
I hope he does something with
I
something more
actually-
with it.
I really like that answer because you're thinking development.
Yeah.
What are
Bayview
you
Place.
putting on Bayview Place?
It's well, I think like the vision that's out there is pretty
amazing.
awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
with
it
the
is
roundhouse
incredible.
and
Oh,
the
man.
historical like it's gonna be amazing when it eventually gets
Yeah,
built
yeah. In
out.
20 years from now.
But I think it's
Yeah.
just it's such a nice location and
It is.
and it's stunning, and just being that close to the downtown and
Yeah.
all the things we talked about with walkable lifestyles. I mean, it's awesome.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's actually part of the reason not Bayview Place, but like the whole downtown co-located to downtown. And this is not Emerson Street, which is co-located kind of in the other direction, but like that Vic West area, like super cool. We got a couple projects coming next year as well in that area. And
Yeah,
that's like that's the dream, is to live close to where you can work, close to downtown, but not have to be downtown.
Yeah, and the downtown is having a rough moment, but I mean,
Yeah.
being close to it,
For the
Yeah,
amenities,
it
for
Yeah.
sure.
is also
It's kinda like
nice.
in-laws, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You want them there, but like not
Not
super
there.
close.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Awesome. Well, Rob, Dale, thank you guys so much for coming on today. I mean, after this conversation, I know our listeners and myself, Jocelyn included, we're all very excited about 1789 Emerson. So for anyone that wants to learn more, I guess more specifically about, Missing Middle, or Rob, about, what you do, and is there anything that you always want to leave behind for people to reach out, or a website or something to check you guys out?
Well, we're definitely rebranding right now, and
Okay.
you can't even see our old website. It's got the construction video
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
but so missingmiddlesolutions.ca.
Okay.
We're gonna have a lot of good information there obviously for the home buyers as well, but as well for landowners in Victoria, and what Missing Middle development kind of looks like, and we have a little bit of a report that we help people with. It's like a develop sell comparison report, because that's, when you're done with your property, you're ready to transition. We're hoping that people will reach out to us and see what could be possible on their property, because when that property's done being part of their story, maybe it can be part of somebody else's.
Yeah. Very cool. Rob?
Yeah, and I guess also going through a bit of a rebrand. So yeah, there's Breakwater Developments.ca.
Yeah.
Similar kind of boat. I think keep an eye on it in the next month or two.
Okay.
We'll have a site up.
Awesome. Perfect. Now, if you're listening and you're interested in learning more about the opportunities at 1789 Emerson, Jocelyn is spearheading our sales. So if you want to reach out to her at...
You can call me at 604-907-2074, or on my email at hello@1789emerson.ca.
Yeah. And then we also have that website, www.1789emerson.ca. And that's a wrap. So big thanks to Dale and Rob for sharing their vision and showing us what's possible when we rethink housing in Victoria. Make sure you follow us at Victoria Real Estate Podcast on Instagram for more, behind the scenes, new listings, and more about Emerson. And other than that, thanks for listening to the Victoria Real Estate Podcast, produced by the City Nest team. We have had some fantastic reviews, and we love them. So please leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you are listening. We also really appreciate you guys sharing the podcast with friends and family. Otherwise, Jocelyn, you already said your contact
I did,
information,
yeah. Call me
so-
at the same number.
and then for me, Adrian at 250-464-4122, or on Instagram at Adrian Real Estate Victoria. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.